welcome back to my channel. Sass here. I'm here for another SASMAS video, honey. We're going to talk about them Duggars. That's what we're going to talk about. Because, see, we need to talk about the Duggars. And if you all like this video, if this video engaged you, I want to talk about Cody Brown next. Cody Brown, sister wives, husband. Oh, I got a lot to say about him. Yes, I do. I have a lot to say about his mean self, mean-spirited self. But we're not on him right now. We're going to talk about the Duggars. And what a mess they are. Okay? Now, the Duggars had a TV show on TLC. Very successful. I mean, very successful. In the beginning, they were getting like 2.3 million views a week. They were killing it. And mainly their draw was that here is a modest Christian family, mother and a father, who have all these kids living in a very modest way. They're not out here living, extravagantly. They pinch their monies. In fact, there was one episode in the beginning where Michelle, which is the mother, was making homemade laundry detergent. Y'all remember that? See, I do because I watched. I was one of the 2.3 million. So they was, teaching people how to, pinch their pennies, save their money. When you have a whole lot of kids, this is how you do it. Now, mind you, this was during, a time of TLC where, there's a mother and a father, big families. Kate plus 8, huge for TLC. And onward and onward and onward. This mama done had 7 kids. This mama done had 6 tuplets. That's TLC, the Learning Channel. Is that right? I think they need to rename that. The Lion Channel. That's what it should be named. So we have Jim Bob. He's the father. And I think that in order for him to be able to sustain a big family like that, I think he was in real estate. Okay. And they were living in a small town in Arkansas. That's where they were living. And they also focused on, the Christian way, devout Baptist, as you will. The Duggars avoid birth control. They said that when God tells them to quit snapping backs, that is when they'll quit having children. See, hence, that's why Michelle, the mother, had 19 kids. See, the Lord said, keep having. Hence, that is why their children has went on to have a buttload of children. But we'll get to them in a minute. So there's Ma and Pa Duggar, which is Jim Bob and Michelle. Of course, Michelle was a stay-at-home mom. And then Jim Bob, I think they also had like a farm, and he was in real estate, and he was able to, make ends meet. Again, very modest family. They were not extravagant in the least. Now their kids. All their kids' names start with J. And let me read off all their kids, okay? Because, honey, I can't remember their names. We have Joshua, or Josh. We'll get to him in a minute. Jana. We'll get to her in a minute. John, Jill, Jessica, Ginger, Joseph, Joey, Jebediah, Jeremiah, Jason, James, Justin, Jackson, Johanna, Jennifer, Jordan, Grace, and Josie. Those are the kids of the Duggars. Now, of course, as the kids get older, they're going to want to date. But they can't go solo dolo. Oh, no, ma'am. They're going to have to do chaperone courtship, which means they can go on a date, but someone else is with them, like a group setting. So if the older one is on the date, let's say one of the girls, then one of her brothers or sisters is going to, be there with them. And there was no kissing, there was no rubbing of the back, there was no hugging. You literally sit there, okay, and you touch hands like this. For the ones who watch the show know what I'm talking about. Now see, that should have been a big red flag for me. Why was I still watching this? But then I found it very curious that people actually did these things. You go on a date, your brother and sister with you, no kissing, no hugging, and you hold hands like this? I kept on watching. I was intrigued. So the years went on. They became more and more successful. Michelle became more and more pregnant. And things were looking good. Here is a family, TLC, huge ratings, very successful. But see, with that success comes things. And baby, did the bottom drop out of this series. Now the series began in September of 2008 and it concluded in May of 2015. Now, why did it conclude so abruptly? Well, let's talk about it. And then news came out that Josh is a disgusting, perverted human being. It came out that when he was around 13, 14 years old, that he was going into his sister's bedrooms and was touching them in a very inappropriate way. And the babysitter. Now, he was 13, 14 years old. Don't get it twisted. They start filming this after they knew, talking about Mom and Pa Duggar, honey, they knew their son had done this. And they filmed it anyway. They portrayed themselves as this modest, Christian, uplifting family who just loved their children and were perfect. I mean, let's just call it what it is. That's what they portrayed. Meanwhile, there's a whole devil and evilness inside that house. All the while they're smiling, making homemade laundry detergent, going to Costco, making clothes, cooking. So when the news came out, Josh Duggar admitted it. He admitted that he did that to his own sisters. He said that he was acting inexcusably, and he apologized. Now, Ma and Pa Duggar, looking like who done it what for, when the news broke, they said that they knew what was happening, and that Josh and the dad went to a preacher, prayed about it, did not say anything about counseling or therapy. They prayed about it and hoped that he would do better, change his ways. Oh, what about the sisters? Did they go to counseling? Did they go to therapy? Very interesting, isn't it? So TLC was like, we can't have this. So the show was canceled. They got fired back in 2015. Now, the girls of the show, the sisters, did a spinoff called Counting On, where the older girls met guys and, you know, they went on and got married and had children. And Josh was nowhere in this series. And I don't think Mom and Pa Duggar was in it too. I didn't watch it. So y'all correct me if I'm wrong. So this news came out about Josh Duggar doing these evil things. So then, Josh Duggar, he was arrested for possession of child PORN. Now, I talked about it during Foolery Friday. I talked about that. And instead of him selling cars, he was in the back office downloading child PORN. Now, it's been several reports about the age of the children he was watching. I read as young as 10 and 11, but some of you sassers was like, sass. I read as young as 6, as young as 3 years old, as young as 3 months. He is a monster. But again, this is 19 kids and family. Devout Baptist Christians. This is our life. And meanwhile, their elder son is a whole perv. Of course, he got found guilty. He got found guilty, and he faces up to 20 years and a fine of, I think, $20,000 per crime. He deserves every bit of it. I hope they give him the maximum sentence. That's what I hope. Now let's talk about his wife, Anna. Let's talk about her. Now, see, since her husband is in jail, and since her husband will be going to prison for a long time, I hope. Let's talk about her. What is she going to do with 7 children? She don't work, I don't think. I mean, he was a car salesman / perv. Someone pointed out to me in the comments that she may possibly just have a high school, you know, diploma. She don't have the skills to really go out and, you know, become a doctor, lawyer. I mean, she could. Don't get me wrong, she could. But right now, what is she going to do? Is she standing by her man? Is she? Is she believing his lies? Because something is telling me that he's still lying to his wife and she's buying it. This is the same woman that stayed married to him when she knew he had touched his sisters. She knew this. And she continued to have children with this man. Continued. Then, during all this mess, he came out and said, A, I did that. B, I also cheated on my wife. See, he cheated on her several times. He's just running around Arkansas like Tristan Thompson. And he says that he has a porn addiction. He said that back in 2015. If that's not a red flag, I don't know what is. I'm going to say this about Anna. She may not have the book sense or to come up with a B plan because she was raised in Barefoot, Thick of the Sticks, Arkansas, and her daddy was the one that arranged this, so she don't really have the skills in life to leave this man. But let me tell you something. It don't take all that to know that your husband is a disgusting, perverted monster. It don't take all that. Now, I'm not in her shoes. So I don't exactly know what the answer was or is. But I do know this. If I found out that my husband was doing some inappropriate acts with his sister, and he cheated on me several times, and he was addicted to PORN, you best believe I'd figure something out. But she continued to have 3 more children after that. She better find a way. Get it together. What is she, in her 30s? You got 7 children to take care of now. What are you going to do, girl? Oh, I wonder if Ma and Pa Duggar is going to help you out. You think, guys? You think she going to go to her in-laws? So we have Josh in jail. And the majority of his older siblings, they don't even have, much to do with him. In fact, some of them said that they agree with the, the jury. And they said that he needed to be in prison. What a mess. And y'all seen his mugshot, right? He had a whole smirk on his face. Is that a face of remorse? No, that's a face of a sick individual. And everything that comes his way, he deserves. Now, let's talk about his sister child. Now, Jana, she is the oldest girl of the children. And Jana, she was on that spinoff Counting On. I think she's married. She has several children. She lives on the family compound. And apparently on September the 9th, she was charged with a 3rd-degree misdemeanor. 3rd-degree misdemeanor for child endangerment. Now, they're not really saying what happened, what is the charge, what's going on, but it will be more explained in January when her bench trial, starts. Jana, she pled not guilty. And of course, she has come out with a statement, and I will read what she said. Took to her Instagram, and she said this. The raw facts, child. I was babysitting a few months ago when one of the children wandered outside alone. A passerby who saw the child called the police. That resulted in a written citation as well as a follow-up with child welfare, who concluded that it was an accident and that the child was unharmed. They recognized that it was a case of a child slipping out of the house when you turn your back for a moment. She also states that the media got a hold of this information and blew it out of proportion. She says she was watching a child. The child wandered outside. A passerby seen the child and called the police. She was served a citation. That's that on Jana. Now, if that was the case and it's just that simple, fine. Fine. Nothing's going to happen to her. Nothing's going to happen. This happens to parents. This happens to babysitters. You're doing something with one child. You're doing something with another child. You turn your back. Just like that, that child is gone. Always be mindful is what I say. But accidents happen. And if this is the case, then this truly is an accident. And thank the Lord that the child is okay and didn't get hit by a vehicle. So that's one good thing about it. So anyway, That's Jana. That's it, y'all. That's all I have to say about the disgusting downfall of the Duggars. I don't know what else to say about them. Let me know what y'all think. Let me know what y'all think about them. Y'all know what to do. Don't forget to hit that like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, friends, happy SASMAS. Bye.